See? Alright, so Leah has said that marriage is defined between a man and a woman, and at least on the federal level. And what I have to say to that is that the only reason it's federally defined as between a man and a woman is because of DOMA. Before that, all the states would decide for themselves their own definition of marriage, and it wasn't until DOMA that there was a federal definition that we all have to go by. Second, she says that they're not acknowledged. Even if DOMA passes, it won't be acknowledged as married. That is because even if we overturn DOMA, they will be acknowledged as married because there will no longer be a federal definition. It will be up to the states. So that doesn't mean that they will be acknowledged in every state, that every state will have gay marriages. It just means in those states that allow gay marriages, it will be also federally recognized because there's no federal definition. She also asks, where in the Constitution does it say that inequality is unconstitutional? Well, I have a citation here from the Constitution itself. Here from the 14th Amendment. All citizens' rights will be equally protected. U.S. Constitution, Amendment 14, July 9, 1868. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunity of citizens of the United States. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, property without due process, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of laws. So the equal protection of laws is what would protect marriages federally. And then I have here evidence that that DOMA was ruled unconstitutional by some federal courts. These are federal courts. They're not just like any other court. These are lower federal courts, and currently is on the way to the Supreme Court, which will decide whether it is completely unconstitutional. And I have evidence here. DOMA has been ruled unconstitutional from Investors Business Daily. DOMA ruled to be unconstitutional. Investors Business Daily, July 9th, 2010, Regional Business News. U.S. District Joseph Taro in Boston ruled that the 1996 Defense of Marriage Act, or DOMA, is unconstitutional because it interferes with the right of the state to define marriage. He ruled in favor of gay couple rights in two separate challenges to the gay marriage ban. The state that argued that the law denied benefits such as Medicaid to gay married couples in Massachusetts were the same-sex unions, where same-sex unions have been legal since 2004. In the other case, Toro ruled that DOMA violates the Equal Protection Clause. The Equal Protection Clause is the one I just read from the Constitution. And then Leah also said that states, even if DOMA was repealed, states wouldn't recognize it. When DOMA is, again, I'll state that once the only reason that there's a federal definition is because of DOMA, and once that is repealed, states will then again be able to decide for themselves what marriage is. So some states won't automatically legalize gay marriage, but the ones that do, well, they will be able to recognize the federal benefits as well. And then she also said that we have to redefine marriage. This all goes back to the same thing of the definition of marriage being on a federal level at the moment because of DOMA in Section 3. We won't have to redefine marriage because it'll just go back to the states. Like I said, the states will be the ones to decide for themselves what their own definition of marriage is, and if they decide that marriage is between a man and a woman, that's up to each state. But there will be some states, like in Massachusetts, other states that will decide that gay marriages can be between two same-sex couples, and so then within those states, the marriage will be legal and they will be entitled to federal benefits. She also says that even if DOMA is repealed and they do receive their federal benefits, it won't be equality all around because some people won't see it as equality. But we're talking about equality of the law and not in the eyes of other people. There's people here that are still racist, that still have their own, and they're entitled to their opinions. But it doesn't mean we're talking about on a law level. We're not talking whether somebody approves of someone else's marriage or not. We're talking about whether the law, they'll receive the federal benefits or state benefits. We're talking about that, not what people think or what they have, like what they have in their heads. So, all right, now stand open for cross-examination.
said that same-sex marriage is determined by the state, and so like therefore like the definition of marriage is determined by the state, so it's up to the state.
Yeah, it's up to the state to define. I mean, if DOMA is repealed, it's up to the state to define what marriage is to each state, like it was before DOMA.
Okay, and then you said that right now it's up to the state, not up to the federal.
No, right now there's a federal definition.
Okay, but do you know how many number of states allow same-sex marriage?
Do not call the number exactly right now.
Okay. And then you said that we're all equally protected. In the Constitution it says equal protection of laws. That still doesn't grant equality on every level. It might grant equality from protection and the things that you said from the Constitution, but that doesn't mean that it grants equality as every level.
Well, we're not talking about every level. We're talking just on the marriage level. This is all has to do with marriage and the marriage benefits. We're not talking about they're going to be equal or people. I mean, that's pretty much. I mean, gay marriage, where gay marriage is allowed, it is already considered equal now. But now there are laws that.
But they're not considered equal for the states now because they're not given
Time.
equal benefits.